in Georgia. You're on the air on the missing airplane. Well, I don't think it's missing. It's on the ground. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Hey, go ahead.
I was listening to you on the internet. Sorry. Yeah, my thought was, remember that missing plane from Malaysia?
Yes.
I think it kind of ties in. It was weird. My wife and I were driving back from Orlando. We heard it on the news, and we look at each other, and she doesn't like your news like I do, but it was just very ironic that it's a Malaysia airplane once again.
Well, I've got to say that that whole thing was very suspicious and doesn't add up, but we're supposed to not question that or we're bad. We're not supposed to question Obamacare doubling, crippling prices or we're bad. We're not supposed to question that all the taxes in it or we're bad. We're just supposed to do what we're told. That's what a good citizen does, is get screwed over. And yeah, it's the same make and model and the same airline. And then Operation Northwood said they would have one airplane launch with the CIA on board. It would land, have another identical airplane get blown up, and that's how Northwood said they would blame the Russians and the Cubans for shooting down an airline. That's Operation Northwood's ABC News. But when I mention that, they'll have the Boston Globe say I made it up, and then I'm insane, and have Weird Al Yankovic make a joke video like they've done. Because they just think they control reality, and questioning is insane. If I walk out and say the sky is blue, I'm a bad person, unless Obama says it's okay for me to say that. And yes, I agree with you that the whole thing's very weird, and that had 100 attendees heading to Australian AIDS conference. I mean, who knows if any of this is even true? It's all very, very bizarre. But Operation Northwoods called for doing something just like this. And then a little bit more recently, in 2003, it was declassified in 2006, that Bush and Blair wanted to paint up a plane like a UN plane, shoot it down, and blame it on their enemies to start wars. Saddam in that case. So thank you, Brian. Good points. But again, questioning is bad. And so we're going to do it again. I think John from Texas is thinking and looking at things, trying to figure out what's happening. If you watch a mystery movie, that's a thought crime. If you play Clue, it's a thought crime. You do not think or question when people don't know what's going on. You receive what the loving government says. John, you're not about to ask questions here, are you?
I'm going to ask questions about Vladimir Putin, Alex.
Okay, go ahead.
I see the pictures on the internet that he's in church and he's praying and meeting with church leaders. But let's face it, to get up high in the KGB, you almost have to be a hardcore communist. And I still see the Soviet emblems on all the vehicles. I still see Red Square still named Red Square. When the Russian troops marched through there, they still got red flags. And then there's the Kama River Truck Factory that was financed by David Rockefeller and built by the Ford Motor Company. A truck factory is 36 miles long, capable of
that was used to arm the North. That was used to give trucks to the North Vietnamese for the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
It's capable of building 250,000 military vehicles a year.
I know.
Now, where's all this stuff going? I mean, is this just an illusion to put us to sleep? And like the Soviet defectors said, that came over here in the mid-'80s that warned us that they're going to put this big illusion up, and when we're back return, they're going to smash us with their steel fish, you know?
But it's more sophisticated than that. Our government, the globalists, the John D. Rockefeller, the Rothschilds, on record, put the Bolsheviks in 1917 and aided them the whole time. I gave $25 million to Stalin, who was the main henchman of Lenin. And our government declassified in 2004, look it up, that our government put Mao Zedong into power. So, yes, is there big remnants of the Russians and the KGB and all that? Do I trust Putin? No. The point is that I'm going to come back and break this down briefly and then let you get a comment, John. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com. If you are global financial combines that for 500 years on record or longer with the black nobility of Venice, the Venetians, this is on record mainline history. What I'm telling you is known by historical and economic scholars. This is not my view of things. This is prima facie admitted. Transferred their system to England in the last 500 years. Napoleon was a competing faction of the very same group. Out of Corsica, out of Italy. He wasn't even French. And that was a battle between the two Venetian systems, the two Italian systems that had the Roman technology of governing and manipulation between the Britannic forces and the Napoleonic forces, okay? I'm simplifying this as much as I can. So there's Knights Templar stuff, Merovingian stuff tied into it, a lot of different philosophies, but the main banking, shipping, combine, British East India, Dutch East India operation. Model that is globalism and modern mercantilism today. They created Hitler on record, didn't run him, didn't control him, found him, trained him, set him up, pointed him at Europe to blow everything up as Napoleon Part 2 to bring in a new global Britannic model based on the United States. That doesn't mean Hitler was good, that he was set up. Just like ISIS is being set up in Al-Qaeda. They're horrible. They're real. They're killing people. But they're being funded and protected and turned loose by the same Britannic model. Doesn't mean British people. It's a model. It's a system. It's a game plan. Okay? And other countries and groups do it as well, but they try to mimic that model. The only way to beat that model is truth, going over the top, and circumventing the whole thing and pulling back and exposing the hat trick. You don't beat it with the Ring of Sauron. You become it. But everyone tries to adopt it to defeat it. I'm going to stop right there. The Russians were set up because the czars weren't part of the European or British group. They were cousins to the British and were a German bloodline and had been quietly off and on working with the Germans, not in World War I, but were getting back in bed with them at the end of that, so they had to be taken out. And the British put this in the newspapers at the time in World War I. They called it the German problem, that they were outproducing science and technology and dominating through soft power and not through Britannic power. So they had to be destroyed. So they destabilized them, had assassinations, got the Austrian-Hungarian Empire to get into a fight with them. And it was their cousins they were fighting with. It was German Transylvanians in Russia, Germany, and England running the whole show. But they had adopted Machiavellian technologies, which themselves were Venetian black nobility programs. Okay, so those are the different pieces of the puzzle. So when I sit here and say the globalists are trying to overthrow Russia, Russia took the money of the Rothschilds, stabbed the globalists in the back, double-crossed them. Putin double-crossed a bunch of them. He double deals with them as well. Putin's been poisoning and killing some of them. There's a real war going on here. They're really trying to do their own new world order right now. Doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean I trust them. But there's a certain KGB group that doesn't want to kill all the Russians and that are nationalistic. And they met with Solzhenitsyn. He decided to leave the U.S. He went back. Putin was a secret acolyte of Solzhenitsyn later, was reportedly there when he died. I mean, I've done the research on all this, okay? And they've made the decision not to put cancer viruses in all their shots and kill all the Russians. They've decided to not go with the full eugenics model and go with a Russian bear, new nationalistic takeover system. And if the old guard likes red stars on things, they'll go with it. But they're going with more of a strongman El Jefe model. I don't endorse it. They're trying to survive, though. The globalists are trying to bring them down, folks, just like they're trying to bring down our country, bring down our borders, bring down our standard of living, take our guns, break the patriarch, break the male, not to empower women. This is a scientific, it's like space aliens landed. The globalists are that advanced with their technotronic, over-the-horizon, Google future-predicting system. And an old mafia of the Russians does not want to go under it. You understand that? That's what it is. And so it's Russia that had Ukraine on its border overthrown by the West. It's Russia with al-Qaeda attacking it. It's Russia being destabilized. It's Russia with... The Russians are not lobbying to take my guns. Russians are not lobbying to take my private property. Russians are not lobbying that I can't have any kids. They're lobbying people to have kids over there. And I don't lionize them. I know who their faction is. And it's infiltrated by globalists as well. The globalists have the Asian, the Russian, the U.S. and European power blocks playing us off against each other, but only to kill humanity, only to make us bankrupt, only to transfer power to the national security states, which are models that the technocracy needs. They need us fighting with each other to build the technotronic towers, because only technotronic towers can battle a technotronic system. But once we've built the technotronic system for them, then the technocracy of the West, that's much more advanced, believes it can then take over in a Judgment Day Skynet scenario the systems and circumvent humans, merge with the machines, and then kill everybody on the planet. Now, that is the Google plan. Bill Joy told the world about it. That is the Microsoft program. And if you can't handle it, you can't handle the truth, folks. This is in all their major publications that they're going to get rid of everybody and that the singularity will come. But they need global adoption of centralized systems for it to integrate with when they release the AI force. Now, you notice the robots are rolling out. The tanks are rolling out. The armored vehicles, the self-driving cars, the factories are replacing humans everywhere. It's here. You can party a while, play with your iPhone, take drugs if you want, be a nihilist, eat, drink, and be merry, or you can decide to be part of the future and try to defeat this. And so our future progeny and ourselves can enjoy the life extension, enjoy all these great things that are happening. But people are too primitive to understand that they're manipulating us all, that Palestinian, Israeli, Russian, Dutch, Hispanic, white, black, white, Catholic, Protestant, male, female, and the globalists have told me. I mean, I've met with billionaires and elites, and people say, why don't you talk about it? Because it was, you know, meetings in confidence. And they said, look, the public doesn't want to live, and they don't understand what you understand. You are one of us. By extension, you want to survive. Now, join me. You people have no idea what's going on and how much danger you're in. I mean, FBI guys in suits trying to impress people, coming up and intimidating folks in black glasses. Give me a break. You're all full of cancer viruses. You're all being microwaved every day. Your kids are walking dead just like everybody else's. You got to circumvent the whole fake matrix, get outside of it, and go read books by Bill Joy and books by Ray Kurzweil. And the Russian scientists are in their own race with this thing and have public symposiums. Whether it's realizable or not, it's the architecture that the elite are pushing and promoting. It's full spectrum dominance towards the end of not blasting space colonies into space to ensure our species and empower humanity, but to end us. The decision has been made to transcend humanity in the elite's view. You go, oh, that's movie Transcendence, where the good machine takes over and puts nanotech into everything to make sure we're good. And a good human is a dead human. The elite, in all their publications, just type, elite believe they're another species. You'll have Times of London, AP, Reuters. It's in all they're telling you that they believe they're superior and are going to merge with machines. and have copies of themselves, and they're not going to let you or I have access to that without a fight, if you even want access to it. So that transcends red stars on Russian tanks. I will assure you, ladies and gentlemen. John, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does, and I really want to believe in Vladimir Putin. I really hope he is a Christian. I really hope that he turned against.
I don't think you should believe in Vladimir Putin, brother. You should pull outside the spectrum. And can you see the pieces on the map? I mean,
I just see. I'm going to keep both eyes open. I'm not a blind follower. I mean, I wanna, but I'm still looking at the fact that the globalists said that when they sent Trotsky and Lenin in there, it was a launching pad to take over the world in a socialist system. And so I got to keep both eyes open as far as to make sure he's not still secretly part of this, you know.
Oh, I'm sure he's all. Did you just hear the? I mean, we know who Putin's part of. The reorganized, collapsed Soviet Union that's decided to go with a nationalist model because now they understand through Solzhenitsyn and others and through me. I don't even talk to them, but they listen. I'm not bragging, folks. I mean, the Russian government listens to this show, quotes it, it's on record. That's what's got the CIA so upset. I'm here giving them. I mean, they're smart enough to get Britannic intel. The Russians are smart enough to understand this and to get past the full spectrum false field, false narrative that's been put up. The Russians are understanding that they're slated for total destruction. So that's making them transcend their communism into more of a El Jefe-ism of the chief, which is what the globalists knew in 1900 when H.G. Wells wrote Things to Come. They knew that would be what they would face in the future. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not that China's good or Russia's good. They're different sub-blocks within a contrived battle economically and militarily for global supremacy to build the technotronic systems within each block that the globalists will then engage in an electronic coup of. Do you understand that?
More or less, you're talking about like the bootleg gangs of the 1920s before they consolidated into the organized crime system to get where they fought each other over territory and stuff.
But yes, but that was laid out publicly. Brzezinski's written 5 books on it. I didn't come up with this. They've all written books. They say they're going to do all this. And like no one will talk about it. Except them and then their own people. And then they say, well, look how dumb the public is. See, they don't even care. I appreciate your call. God bless you, sir. Oh, God help us. I just don't know how to explain this to people. Toby in Oregon, you're on the air. Thanks for holding. Go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. The plane is a distraction. The real deal is the Western Front. And I think the only way that we can stop this invasion from the South American continent is by spreading the Republic and starting a 51st state movement like Baja and get them to join the Union and to learn our ways.
No, I agree. Mexico has failed and collapsed, and you don't stay the same. I mean, you don't have in the universe where something sits there. It either degrades or it excels and moves forward. And Baja would be a nice slice and is one of the safer, better areas of Mexico. And it also would secure Mexico's flank if you cut it off and built a fence there up by where the peninsula is. And I think you're probably right. The problem is the globalists already foresaw that. That's why annexation of Mexico into the North American Union is their plan out of the crisis they created. They already are one step ahead with the logic to sell the absorption of Mexico as a way to fix the problem, but they won't fix the problem with the absorption of Mexico. See, you just hit full spectrum dominance again and the high-level intelligence we're facing.
If we could translate your small booklets that you hand out with all the orders into Spanish and spread that, you know, the Bill of Rights is something that Mexicans and all Southern peoples grab onto. Those ideas are inherent in them, and if they knew that they could join the Union and there would be no border,
Exactly. They just see it the way it's been sold, that they're not welcome here when they're leaving the hellish stuff, and then it's sold that you can only join the communist, socialist if you want to have freedom. It's a total fraud. We do need to spread 1776 worldwide and not just annex things. We could literally have the ideas, if they were properly taught, expand and would turn those places into Edens. The problem is the globalists have been in Latin America for 60 years with the Ford Foundation teaching communism as the only way to resist.
I've worked with many of these laborers. They're hardworking. They want to be Americans. They want to blend in. It's not their fault that people are handing them all these goodies. So I want to.
I know.
Out there.
And they've set up an economy where you can't even survive as a working class person without handouts. I mean, they admit that's the plan. I mean, it's not just the Hispanics from Latin America that are getting the freebies on top of working. Most Walmart workers are on welfare on top of it. Most blue-collar workers, they tell city and state workers now, oh, you're so low paid, go get welfare. Go get food stamps. I mean, it's disgusting. I appreciate your call. Great points, Tubby. Yeah, it's messages like that that are going to save humanity. We're all in this together, folks. It's full spectrum dominance. And let's just talk to Glenn in Ohio. Glenn, you're on the air worldwide. Thanks for holding.
Hello, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, Alex. I have some really important information here, and I'm not sure if you mentioned this to your listeners or not, but this is from history. Do you recall Iran Air Flight 655?
Yes, and then right after they had that, they had Operation Praying Mantis and blew up the Persian Gulf fleet of the Iranians.
Well, the point here being is that the United States government, especially Obama and the globalists, have no business pointing fingers at either Russia or the separatists when we ourselves destroyed 209 people on board that flight, including 66 children and 16 crew died that day.
Well, it happens in war zones, and it's terrible. Exactly. The Ukrainians in 2001 blew up a Russian airliner. So was there World War III over that? There it is. Ukraine admits it shot down a Russian airliner, 2001, killing 78 passengers. So why was it not a big deal then? Because you don't start wars over things like this. No governments. Here's the thing about the Russians. They don't have a motive to blow the aircraft up. They didn't do it premeditatedly. It's a bad move. It's like forfeiting the queen in a chess game for no reason. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. I guess the point here being just really quick here is that, again, we really need to stress, hey, look, U.S., you did the same thing. You have no business pointing fingers at anyone else. So just be quiet.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
Infowars.com has been up and down some today. And we have backup websites like prisonplanet.com. And we're looking into this being an attack on the site. Those routinely happen, and we're working on mitigating that. But we're going out on AM and FM stations all over the world, YouTube, thousands of other platforms, global shortwave. And the fact that we're seeing more and more censorship the last week, where suddenly web filters all over the world, not just here in the United States, have been saying, don't go to our websites, they're not safe. And again, they've done that to Drudge, WorldNet Daily, you name it before. This is an attempt to make sure that the fact that we're questioning the narrative does not get out. Up on Drudge right now, it's got the Sun headline, Putin's missile. See, Putin did it now. And it's just like babies in incubators. It's like claiming that there's babies that Saddam was stomping the brains out of. It was a PR firm, all fake, none of it true, to start the first Iraq war. Or that our ships were attacked in the Vietnam harbor. Didn't happen. That's declassified, again, in the mid-2000s. And so now, you know, it's the Sun in England, flight MH17 shot out of the sky. Putin's missile. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. He is convicted, ladies and gentlemen. Done. Open and shut case. And so the answer is, I guess, let NATO and the EU take over and kick all the Russians that are about half the population of Ukraine out, and maybe just bomb Russia. I mean, we've I've got headlines up on Infowars.com until the site went down with all these top government officials, McCain, you name it, saying there will be hell to pay, and others saying let's go toe-to-toe with the Russians. The site's again up and down. It's up right now. But this is what they're saying. This is what they want. And they don't want people going to Infowars.com and noticing that the Ukraine video was uploaded to YouTube, time-stamped on YouTube, the day before the plane was shot down yesterday. So on Wednesday, this YouTube video showing a supposed Russian separatist dressed up, standing by a Russian officer, by one of these missile launchers that they admit the Ukraine government has. They claim separatists stole it. I mean, I could dress up like a TSA person and go do stuff right now, and people think TSA did it, or impersonate a cop. I mean, you know, you could do that. This is what goes on. And this is how wars start. And I'm sad for everybody in Ukraine, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad the Georgia war got stopped in 2008. We're going to go to your calls in the next segment for Tim and Nathan and others that are patiently holding. But before we go any further, please remember that we're under attack as well. They don't want us getting this info out because they don't want to have a real debate. They want to start a new war like the Spanish-American War that was based on blowing up the Maine. They want to do this. Globalist criminal interest, the same ones shutting down our borders right now. They're attacking everybody. The globalists are launching their wars and operations everywhere right now, all over the Middle East. Al-Qaeda's launching attacks. NATO's launching attacks. Israel's launching attacks. The globalists are lowering our borders, launching attacks. These are the times they drop the hammer. This is when everything accelerates. So spread the word about the broadcast, the free podcast, the free audio feeds, the video feeds. Become a PrisonPlanet.tv member. See the nightly news, all of it. Tell friends and family to tune into the refeeds all weekend long at Infowars.com/show. They can see the free feed of the last 3 days airing back-to-back. Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv. Buy the products at InfoWarsStore.com. Shop with the good guys.
Hello, this is Hank Hill, and I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
My judge, what is the secret of the universe?
Infowars.com.
They're saying most likely Russian-made. CNN says so, and they don't lie. I mean, you saw Anderson Cooper, who's admittedly CIA, his nose disappear from the studios at Sandy Hook on a blue screen. So, I mean, I don't know what the truth is from known liars. I just know Russia doesn't stand to gain from this. Let's talk to Tim in Ohio. Go ahead, Tim. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Alex. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I'm the guy that found the Obama phone lady for you up here in Ohio.
Oh, good job.
Hey, since we're in an information war, you wanted to have that Jeopardy show. I think you should call it Yupperty.
Okay, tell me about it.
For all the yuppies, you know?
And you can have really stupid questions about what color is Jennifer Aniston's hair in Horrible Bosses, but then ask them about, things that matter, like the first 3 of the Bill of Rights, stuff like that?
Sure. Well, isn't it sad how back when our founding fathers had the revolution, they were upset over a 3% tax sending it overseas to a king, but yet Washington, D.C. is not one of the 50 states, and we send all of our money there. No different. That's
right, brother. You're absolutely right. Good points. Thanks for the call. And by the way, Nico, you should have an update on the Obama phone lady. Are we able to get her to town? It's close. Okay, good. Want to get her take on Obama now. Let's talk to Nathan from Texas. You're on the air, extremist. Go ahead.
Are you looking for Nathan or Jason?
Nathan, bro.
I said my name was Jason.
Oh, okay. We just got the name wrong. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're on the air, sir.
Okay. That's okay. I just wanted to talk about the border. I just spent the last week in El Paso, and I crossed over into Juarez twice. And each time coming back, I was wearing blades on my sides, and nothing was said from the customs or the border patrol. And all I went across with was my birth certificate and my driver's license.
And I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and the week we spent in El Paso, we had constant flybys over the hotel we were in, and they were low enough I could almost see the pilot's face, and they were running about every 50 to 75 minutes. I don't know what they were looking for. I don't know if you knew about that or not. But then when we were coming home, we hit the Border Patrol checkpoint about 100 miles east of El Paso, and the only thing they did was said, "Is everybody on board a U.S. citizen?" I said, "Yes." They said, "All right, go ahead." And, you know, what cartel member is going to tell the truth? "No, I'm not a U.S. citizen. I got a truckload of coke back here." You know, that's how low that they've gotten.
Absolutely. Our government has opened our borders by design, and I'm having to convince callers why we don't want war with Russia. I mean, the traitors run the country. But see, people at a primitive level, even if they're smart, get behind the country when there's a foreign enemy. But we're not a country. We're under FEMA regions. We'll only get the country back admitting that. So, absolutely, sir. Any other points?
Well, the Malaysian airliner. I told my family last night, I said, I guarantee you tomorrow Putin's going to be blamed with that airliner coming down. I said, we've got too many interests in Ukraine that they're not going to just let go of easy.
And by interest, we mean globalist interest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The oil, the gas, the whole 9 yards.
Listen, there's U.S. studies out. It's not like it's Russian studies that the sanctions are hurting Europeans and Americans worse than Russians in power prices, you name it. I mean, but the globalists don't care if it hurts us. They love that. Everything they do is to bankrupt us and to control us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I am here as the music runs out, just trying to get the documents and articles straight. You can go to the London Guardian from 2006, and you can see the headline that Bush Blair in 2003 had a plan to get a U.S. aircraft shot down, painted up like a UN plane, to then blame it on Saddam Hussein. But they figured out other ways to stage that war then. There's the headline, Blair-Bush deal before Iraq war revealed in secret memo. PM promised to be solidly behind U.S. invasion with or without UN backing. And here's the headlines today out of the Daily Mail. Putin blames Ukraine for loss of the flight, saying it was a war zone. Why were aircraft being routed through there? But John McCain responds and says there'll be hell to pay. Putin responds by saying, let's have a ceasefire after the plane attack, where they've had a bunch of Ukrainian aircraft bombing people. And the response out of that was by the neocons and Bolton to come out in the news, John Bolton, and he said, let's go toe-to-toe with the Ruskies, right out of the 1964 Dr. Strangelove movie, where Slim Pickens rides down the hydrogen bomb, starting the end of the world. Maybe a new Cuban Missile Crisis will play out this time. Maybe this is how they'll get their total power, ladies and gentlemen. So Putin says, let's have peace. And the answer is no. How dare you? They're calling it Putin's missile. But when the Ukrainians shot down a Russian passenger liner in 2001, the Russians didn't talk about any military action because they're the bad guys. And we're the good guys because we fund al-Qaeda killing Christians all over the Middle East and give ISIS heat-seeking missiles. Again, I'm not for Russia here. This is the globalist above our countries playing us off against each other. But George Soros a month ago told the New York Times that he was the main person behind the overthrow of the elected Ukrainian government. The West started this, and then somebody routed that aircraft through that airspace where for months no one's been allowed to fly. And that's in the news, but it's in CBS News and a few others, but kind of like, yeah, okay, and that's important, but not that big of a deal. No, it's a big deal. You don't avenge 300 people killed accidentally, even if the Russians did it, and that's questionable, by starting a larger war. The InfoWars crew absolutely loves coffee because we love being awake. And I am somewhat of a connoisseur of coffee. So many times you go to a restaurant or even to a coffee shop and the coffee tastes like garbage. And in all the different coffees I've tried, my favorite is grown in the high mountains, in shade, Arabica, on the border with Guatemala in southern Mexico by the Chiapas farmers. I make sure we've done the research. I make sure it's the very best product that we can offer you when I put my name on it. And I believe, and it's my taste, so you may differ, that this is the best coffee in the world from southern Mexico. Wake Up America Patriot Blend, 100% organic, Arabica shade grown. And then we have the Immune Support, 100% organic coffee, infused with a special type of mushroom known to boost the immunity.
This coffee is seriously so smooth. I normally have to douse my coffee with cream and sugar and cinnamon and all kinds of tasty treats, but this, I drink this black. It is so good.
Well, that's why I like it, is that it has a kick, it has really good caffeine in it, it has a good clean wake up that lasts for a long time, doesn't give me a headache, but it's so smooth, it's so delicious. Just try it out for yourself. I'm telling you, this is my favorite coffee. We went through a lot of trouble to bring you this. Just try it, and I think you'll be hooked like we are here at InfoWars. Well, folks, find out for yourself and support the information war today. It's all available at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.